Hello guys, welcome to the Black Spin Global podcast. I am Lucy.
And I'm Eugene.
And welcome to a brand new episode. Now, if you are watching this and not just audio, and you're not new here, probably wondering like, what's going on? It's a little different setup.
Different environment,
as you can see. We are actually live at at Wimbledon, and also in the actual official library. And today we have a special episode where we will be talking about Black players and celebrating Black History Month and related to Wimbledon and the players and the achievement and so on. And yeah, I'm very, very excited. So happy Black History Month, first of all.
Indeed.
And if you are from the US, actually, please don't get confused. In the UK, we do celebrate Black History Month in October. And we are aware that in the US is in February. So, but you're more than welcome to join us and celebrate with us.
It's a celebration. Exactly.
It's a celebration for sure. How are you, Eugene?
I'm good, Lucy.
Sorry for that long intro.
No, it's fine. But yeah, no, like you said, it's very special to be here. Like, it's so like plush. And like, obviously we've got the attire that we'll talk about later on as well. But yeah, Wimbledon for me, like it's a special place just because growing up, I played here. Well, in my early teens, I was part of the Wimbledon Junior Tennis Initiative, which I've spoken to you about like a lot.
Yeah.
But just for the
viewers
to
you
know.
can show it off. It's all right.
So yeah, I was basically part of this scheme that allowed me to basically play over the weekends and also during the week. So there were like 2 sessions during the week, and it was basically for kids from the local area. And it was just a nice way to kind of, I say excel, but like continue like my love and passion for the sport. And for me, Wimbledon will always kind of have that special place like in my heart. Like, so
Sure.
Being here today, like it was a nice feeling, and it brought back a lot of memories for me. So,
I can imagine.
yeah.
I can imagine. I mean, for me, it's more of like, I'm a fan. As the regular listeners know, I don't play as much.
Although
but
we are trying to get you on the court.
You keep saying that, but I'm not too sure about that. But honestly, Wimbledon's always like a fun moment being here. Whether it's like growing up watching it from the TV or even just coming in as fans and stuff. And well, it's just different from all the other Grand Slams or all other like tennis.
Yeah. Even the players also say that as well.
For sure.
Like, and not just the Brits. Players from all over the world, they always say, yeah, Wimbledon is the slam that like is for whatever reason it just feels like more special for them. So yeah, I feel like that resonates not just with fans but players too.
For sure.
But yeah, let's get into like the main reason why we're here. Like,
for sure,
looking back.
We have great people, great figures, great players, and so on from the Black community and different countries that have made quite achievements in the tournament, whether it's winning the Grand Slams, whether it's, achieving certain stuff, especially that, I
think the player we're going to speak about first is Althea Gibson.
Yes.
And to your credit as well, when we were kind of going through the rundown, you did say, we need to give her kind of more prominence because she is kind of like almost like a forgotten figure. And yeah, I feel like you need to speak on that as well. Being a woman, I feel like it's important for you to speak on that. Like, why? And I'll give my opinions as well, like later on. But why do you feel that is in terms of like how compared to like figures in the past, Gibson is kind of like almost forgotten in terms of like what she's achieved, considering she was the first. Like, in many ways.
Yeah. Do you know what? Initially, I actually thought it was a thing of like, it happened so long ago, so. Like people will like forget. Like, not really. It's not like that long. Like she literally won the first Wimbledon in 1957. But I think it's not really necessarily a tennis thing or like or a sport thing. I think in general there is an issue with the stories from Black women or celebrating Black women or their achievement. It tends to be forgotten because you need to remember with which we'll discuss about with other Black female players today. But you need to remember as well that when it comes to Black women, they're facing 2 other things.
Two struggles,
exactly. You have the gender and race. So yeah, I honestly I can't I can't really tell you what it is, because initially I genuinely thought it was like, oh yeah, it's just so long ago. But then when I went through my notes, I was like, hey, hold on, actually it's 1957. Like this is, you know, like it's not that long ago. So I mean, it is far, but do you get what I mean? Like, yeah. So I just think it's just like a society thing that just needs to do better in terms of like remembering the stories of certain Black women like Althea Gibson. But luckily, we are here today to celebrate that, you know, and discuss that further. So, as you said, you know, Gibson was the first Black player to win a Wimbledon title, and she was seeded first as well. And she did actually follow up the following year as well. She won that title. Yeah. She did. That wasn't the first Grand Slam. She won the first Grand Slam the year before at the French Open. But
I love this all doing the research. Like, yeah, she only played the French Open once.
Yeah.
And like won it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So it was like, yeah, one and done.
One and done. That. Yeah, exactly.
So but undefeated in Paris, you could say. Like.
Actually, yeah, pretty much, yeah. I think I'm not too surprised about that though, because as well there was a lot of research and comments about her playing style, and you know, like how she was like, her talent was just clear. Like she was really, really great, especially at serving and
her
volleying.
Serve was the biggest weapon.
Which makes sense as to why, you know, she was pretty great at Wimbledon as well. But, you know, she won that title in 50 minutes against American Darlene Hard as well, who actually did also gave her praise about the way she played. She was like, listen, she did not make it easy for me, especially I think it was the first set that was even pretty quick as well. Yeah. But yeah, and one thing that a lot of people actually may not know about, not only she won the singles that day, she actually won the doubles with a Hard as well. And a couple of hours later, then played mixed doubles as well. But she actually did not win that one. So I find it so interesting how they were playing all finals in one day. So she literally went back home, actually not just one title but like two, which is pretty cool. But obviously her winning Wimbledon was definitely the highlight of all. When she got back home, there was 100,000 people outside celebrating and literally getting all the praise and stuff. And it just shows to you the difference between winning another title and winning a title like Wimbledon. But I think one of the main reasons why it was such a big deal as well was because a player like Althea Gibson, being a Black woman, it wasn't easy for her to actually start in and actually play professionally. You know, she had to wait quiet for a while for her to actually get into it, because a lot of the tournaments that were held even before Wimbledon, or even in the US where she's actually the country she's playing for, didn't actually allow non-white people playing. Exactly. So you're facing that and you're not getting the same funding, you're not getting the same support, you're not getting the same treatment, and yet you still have to be out there and play your best tennis, and then you go ahead and win Wimbledon and win Grand Slam. So I just feel like it's very, I don't know, when I was learning more about her stories, I just felt very, what's the word? Help me out here. What's the word? Proud, inspired. Yeah. But a side of me did feel a little bit sad, because it's like, it made me think what she could have achieved if she actually had those opportunities, because she even won that title like literally in her 30s.
I think 29.
29, 30, and it's the same as at Arthur Ashe. Arthur Ashe was 31 when he won his. But I'm really glad that we really started off talking about her, because again, I kind of feel like, rightfully so, the focus has always been a lot more on Arthur Ashe, especially mentioning that he's, you know, the first Black man to win the Wimbledon title, but Althea Gibson was the first ever man or woman, Black person, not just to win Wimbledon, but also just a Grand Slam. And from there, it really opened the door for the rest. I think
to that point as well, like she was kind of on the tour for like 6 years.
7 years.
Like basically just grinding her way through.
Exactly.
But then also, like you said, facing a lot of barriers, like in the process. Which again, and it's something that we've obviously done the research on now, but before kind of doing the research for this show specifically, like I'm ashamed that I didn't really know like kind of barriers that she kind of had to face, and like just the extent, because it was tough.
It was
really,
tough.
really tough.
No, it really was.
And I feel like that's kind of our duty now. Now we are like kind of wiser of the fact. Like we do need to like mention and celebrate it more and just highlight it some more, and not just during Black History Month. Like But I feel like that's something we could all kind of do like collectively, and I want to make sure we do make that effort.
I mean, as a Black woman myself, I definitely agree with you, and I was aware of a lot of like the stories. I just didn't realize how much like it wasn't really spoken about compared to the others, like other players, Black or white. Like I just didn't really get it as much. But at the end of the day, whatever she's accomplished is something that could never be forgotten. Like it's literally one of a lifetime thing. There's even one more thing that I actually forgot. She was actually the first Wimbledon winner who actually greeted like how the end
exactly,
they
it's like
say
become a tradition now.
She was actually the first Wimbledon winner to get that as well, which is, I don't know, the way the world actually works, like it's just crazy. But you see, these are all of the things that she has, and also open a door for others, especially players like Arthur Ashe himself, which we will talk about next. But I think it's just a little bit unfortunate that when it came towards the end of her career with her health issues and stuff, she didn't get as much as help with financially. If I remember correctly, there was a player, Angela Buxton. Because of her, they were actually able to raise up to $1 million to help her with like her health fees and everything. And because she was winning all these titles and these Grand Slams, but financially she wasn't really getting that support.
And obviously there was no like WTA, like Women's Tennis Association at that time.
Exactly. And it goes back to what I was saying with why her achievement is so groundbreaking and why it's so important, because again, she was facing two of the most difficult like challenges. Like she had to face the fact that she was Black, she had to face the fact that she was a woman, had to face that she didn't get the support even from her own country. So but it didn't stop her. She used that to keep on fighting and keep on going. And it's honestly great to see, and it's she's such an important figure to like the Black community. They were calling her they were calling her the tennis Jackie Robinson when she won Wimbledon as well. It just shows you how much of a big deal it was, and shows you again how much of a big deal it is to win a title like Wimbledon. Like it's crazy how we hear it today, but it was still the same thing
back
years
then.
back.
No, exactly.
But
that speaks to like the history of the place, and like
True.
Just how significant it is, like as a Grand Slam, and like I guess like as an institution, you could almost say, like, so it's massive.
For
really,
sure.
really big.
For sure, yeah.
I don't want to finish on Alfie just yet. So
I'm not mad at that.
I do want to like highlight. So she finished her career with 5 singles Grand Slams. So 1 French, like we said, 2 Wimbledons and 2 US Opens. She actually did win her first US Open after winning Wimbledon in 1957. And also she played doubles too. Like so she had she finished with 5 doubles crowns, 1 at the Australian Open, 1 at the French, 3 at Wimbledon. So clearly like had the game for both singles and doubles. And she did also win a mixed doubles title too at the US Open. And she also made further history, Lucy. So not only was she a tennis player, she also was a pro golfer.
I know.
So she was the first Black woman to play on the LPGA tour, which is like the ladies' professional golf tour. And again, like that I was aware of that before like doing the research, but like to kind of, when you like put that kind of into context,
with everything else,
like to go from one sport to another, like, and like you said, with all the barriers that she already faced, like she is literally a superhuman in terms of like athlete and a human being.
Exactly. And golf is one of them sports where it's like tennis, where you don't see a lot of Black
predominantly white sport.
Exactly. So I think that's why one of the reasons why I find it inspiring is because it's like that did not stop her. Like it was just like, no, I'm just going to yes, I'm well aware that I'm Black, but I'm still gonna go and play what I want to play, and I feel like I'm the best at it as well. So that was really, really cool of her to do that. But honestly, I hope that more people learn about her story and more people learn about what she's like accomplished. And the craziest thing is, we could actually do a whole episode on Althea Gibson. That's the maddest thing. Really and truly, like, there's so much more that we could like even say right now, but I feel like we've definitely raised the most important points, especially what she's accomplished in tennis and definitely like at Wimbledon as well. But yeah, I was gonna say shout out Althea Gibson, but can you say shout out Althea Gibson?
Like rest in peace,
rest in peace for sure. But yeah, that is definitely, yeah. Honestly, I always enjoy like learning more about her and reading the stories, no matter how many times like you kind of know about it. But yeah, but again, as I said, all of that has opened the doors for the others, including who we should talk about next.
Arthur
Ashe.
Yeah.
Which we know about. I mean, the stadium name is right there.
In New York.
You know.
I want to say that's the biggest tennis stadium in the world as well.
Oh, that stadium is massive.
Ashe,
It is massive. But yeah, funny enough, Ashe was actually introduced to Althea Gibson's coach, Robert Johnson.
Or Doctor
sorry.
Let's give him the full title.
Yeah, my bad. Apologies. Dr. Robert Johnson, very early in his career, and apparently like Johnson really helped him with his form and helping him like form his game and stuff. But yeah, again, like Althea Gibson, Arthur actually came in to Wimbledon ready winning some titles. But one thing that's very interesting as well is that he was actually pretty close quite a few times, and I think that's why his run was very significant, like coming into Wimbledon.
I think 2 semi-finals before actually eventually winning it.
But on top of that as well, he had a very like tough draw like run-ish as well, because a lot of the players that he had to play against were actually like top seeded players who were in form. Like Jimmy Connors was like that guy, and was much younger than him as well during that time. So obviously the stamina is not the same. So yeah, but apparently the final against Connors was one of the like most popular matches for Ashe. It was very strategic.
And I think they say like it goes down like even to this day like it's one of the biggest upsets. Like,
yeah, exactly.
in sport.
Yeah, that was all like the word upset was a word I kept hearing I kept seeing the most every time we're talking about that final. So
and
yeah,
there was also like some stuff kind of happening behind the scenes between Ashe and Connors, like I'll say politically. I think Connors was suing Ashe due to like, because Ashe kind of formed or helped form the ATP, so the Association of Tennis Professionals, which is like the ATP tour for the men. But yeah, Connors, there was an issue with Connors not wanting to represent the US at Davis Cup, and Ashe was very much like he was a proud American, so he was. I think he won the Davis Cup, 7 times.
Yeah, and he was a captain as well.
Exactly.
Like, yeah,
so, like,
he took it.
It meant a lot to him to like represent his country, whereas for Connors, it didn't. And like there was also like just tension between them. I feel like because of that, and also like this kind of legal dispute that they were having as well. But yeah, this all kind of coincided, like alongside or at the same time as them meeting in this final.
Yeah.
So it was like a match of like, I don't know, a grudge match.
So
and
would
also,
you say that gave Arthur like
maybe and he did say as well, like before the match he kind of felt, even though he was the underdog, he felt like he was going to win, because he just had this feeling in terms of like, or a sense of knowing that I'm ready for this moment, and it played out that way. Like, so and I think to Connor's credit as well, he did say he played a better match than me.
No, he did. He was he just said like, he had a lot of like wide balls, and he just didn't like he literally did not know like what to do. It's like, from what I was reading is that Arthur had a solution for every single thing that he was literally doing. So so credit to Connors that actually gave him, giving him his props despite the little
tension and beef.
The little tension that there was out there. But yeah, honestly, that was really such a big moment, because it wasn't just a big moment for the Black community as well, but also even like an American like history as well at that time. But yeah, and since then, Arthur Ashe is still the only Black man who's won Wimbledon in men's singles, and the only one who's ranked number one.
Reached the number one ranking, which is, I find that so crazy.
I know. But I think the reason why you find that crazy is because for a long time we didn't have, like, today is the first time where we're having more than one or two black men literally playing at the same time and the same level, you know, like, because when we had, you know, Yannick Noah, and then Monfils came in, and then Songa came in, and then now you have a little bit more, you know, you have Francis Tiafoe, who's had like a great run here as well. Played incredible this year against Carlos. Which was the furthest that he went through, and he played against Carlos Alcaraz. That was probably one of the best matches this Wimbledon year.
That like restarted his season.
It actually did. Yeah. And that was actually Carlos Alcaraz's like toughest match, but it just shows you the level that he had. Then you have Ben Shelton as well, which we'll talk about later. Then you have Arthur Fils, Christopher Eubanks as well, who made the quarterfinals here last year. So I think that's why it sounds like weird now hearing that Arthur Ashe was still like the only black man to win Wimbledon. But it also shows
for me, it's the reach, well, to have the number one ranking. I would have thought that, I don't know, but like you said, now it does feel like there's more.
I think
coming through. Exactly. So we will see it eventually.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
But yeah, it's just crazy to me to think, wow, like, we have to go back to like what, 1970.
Very long time.
Like it's wild.
Very long time. No, honestly.
On that though, he wasn't just a tennis player. Like, he was an activist, and obviously he came up at a time where, you know, there was like unrest, not just in the States but like globally as well, and he spoke out like quite well, admirably, about like the apartheid situation in South Africa, for instance. But yeah, I feel like he was also just well respected like amongst his peers. Hence why now it does feel like he is, I mean, Arthur Ashe Stadium, like you said, kids kind of know Arthur Ashe as being a stadium, not a player. But yeah, that's because of like the legacy that he kind of left behind. And I feel like, again, to bring it back to Althea Gibson quickly, she was the first, but yet Ashe, he came second in terms of kind of following her lead, if you will. But he also did achieve, he achieved a lot in terms of on the court and off the court. So I feel like the work he done off the court as well was kind of, I say celebrated more, but like it's been acknowledged, and like, yeah, it's just kind of been given a lot of I say prominence. But so it should be, like, to be completely honest. Sure. Like, it's
especially during those times.
This is what I'm saying, exactly. It's not an easy thing, and for someone to be so like graceful as well, like that's another thing that kind of came up a lot when I was doing the reading on him. Like, he just had a lot of grace and like made people feel special. Like when he was like in a room with them, like speaking with them and stuff like that. So he was a special person. Like, and I feel like that is something that people kind of remember of him. And it's not a bad way to be remembered, really, is it?
Oh no. So, no, definitely not. I think, you know, the things that you accomplish on court is definitely one thing, but the things you accomplish out of it is like a whole different ball game. But yeah, honestly, this was, and let's not forget, next year we're actually celebrating the 50th anniversary of him winning that Grand Slam, and I think that's definitely I'm actually pretty, I don't want to say proud, but like happy the fact that people already mentioning it. Like, I've actually been hearing it since summer, like, oh, next year is going to be his 50th anniversary, next year. And I feel like it's really nice just hearing that people still want to celebrate his legacy and what he's accomplished. And again, it just shows to you how much of a big deal it is and the difference that it did make. So yeah, but that was definitely such a like an important history, Black history, tennis history, and with the amount of Black men that we now have today, that history will keep on, you know, growing and hopefully make that change as well. And hopefully one day we'll definitely have another Black man to win Wimbledon.
Indeed.
But yeah, who do we have next?
I mean, we should.
Who do we have next?
Two clues.
Two clues. And for our regular listeners, you know, these are my faves. We cannot talk about Black History Month or even tennis in general without mentioning Serena and Venus.
Venus and Serena. Let's do it in
Williams.
Come on.
Let me my bad. But yeah, I mean,
where to start?
That's the thing. Where do you actually start? Like, in all honesty, like, where do you actually start? which players do not talk about their impact and their playing style. You know, we all know both of them have very strong serves. They both have beautiful ground strokes. I can talk about them for a long time, so please, Eugene, hold me back. But in terms of their impact at Wimbledon, the Williams sisters have 12 titles between them. Venus won her first title in 2000 and 2001 before regaining the title in 2005, and then she won back-to-back crowns in 2007 and 8. Meanwhile, Serena beat her older sister for her first 3 titles, 2002, 2003, 2009, before winning 4 further titles all these other years in 10, 12, 15. And remember 2012, she was back that summer to win the gold for the Olympics. London 2012, the best Olympics,
and
by the way.
to be fair, we should also mention this is from 2012.
It is.
This fit
yes.
here.
So literally all the fits here from Venus and Serena are from they wins or like finals doing at Wimbledon, which is pretty special.
It's very cool.
Yeah. I remember the times where Venus were at Reebok.
The Reebok era. Yeah.
Honestly, I definitely love the whole. I think that's one thing as well. Is like, again, another impact fashion, like the fashion on court. Like that is one day I would love to discuss about.
Even looking at the blazer here, like I'm gonna say she did the blazer before Federer.
Ooh, I'm not too sure.
Okay. I'm gonna say she inspired Federer. I'm just putting it out there. Like
they both looked, but you know, Federer's my, you know, that's he's my other fave. So I'm not mad at that. But either way, I just love the fact that she just had her blazers on. I just love the fact that they did not care. You know, it's like I'm gonna wear what I want to wear.
But it's also bringing like personality. Like, and I think now we're not as, I don't know, like it's not as, I say shocking, that's probably not the right word, but like you almost expect it now, especially with the bigger players.
Yeah,
like they have a lot of input and say so, like in what they're wearing, like designs for like specific Grand Slams.
Yeah,
and it's always funny to me as well, like kind of watching today anyway, like when you see like Sabalenka, for instance, she's number 2 in the world. But like everyone's always saying, "Oh, like where's like your special outfit for like the US Open?" Or like, because it does feel, and I think she does have input in terms of like kind of what she wears. Yeah. But for some players, you can tell it's like something more, I don't know, important like to them to kind of have like kind of show their personality like through fashion.
I mean, Serena, she went to Nike when she first started and be like, "Listen, I know you get players saying, I need this, I need that to feel comfortable. I really like do not care. Like I just want to look the best out there." But I feel like what is so impressive is the fact that she had all of that and was still playing her best. Yeah. And the fact that she was able to do that at Wimbledon, where there's more regulation. Like you have to make sure, especially now it's a little bit more relaxed. For example, like women can wear like different colored shorts.
Or undergarments.
Undergarments, and stuff. Whereas before it was strictly all white. But it's the fact that she was always, both of them were always able to put some nice touch of themselves into it, like for just the Wimbledon outfits.
Push the envelope, like when it came to And you mentioned Nike, like this is her Puma era.
That's true.
So like, again, and I'm just remembering some of her Puma fits, like from back in the day, like. The French Open is one that stands out. She was wearing like the Cameroon. Like that
was probably one of my
such a statement fit. Yeah. And like now to see the Puma shoes here, obviously these are the ones she wore at Wimbledon. Like you do kind of, when you think Puma, you do think Serena as well. And obviously she was a Nike. She finished.
She still is.
Season or career with Nike. But Puma's also in there too. So
100%.
It's nice to kind of see the shoes here and remember that time.
No, for sure. No, definitely. But it just shows you how much we can actually talk about. Look how like the fact that
just on fashion.
Yeah, just on fashion alone. That's what I'm saying. And yet they've done so much into like the sport, like from the playing. Like there's not a player today. I think what's even more like impressive, especially what I love the most about tennis in general, is like one of the few sports where even male players can be like, oh, this female player is, you know, she's playing as well. She was my inspiration and so on. And I think that's why the Williams sisters are so important in tennis, because both male and female players were saying that, but especially the black players as well. Like you hear Francis Tiafoe always talking about how their impact and how like seeing them play has helped them become the players that they are today, or even just like the sport, from Sloane Stephens to Coco Gauff to literally nearly every single
Yeah.
black player that's literally playing today, they really opened the doors like for them. And then on top of that is all other type of players. I mean, just Danielle Collins just recently, not too long, well, a couple months ago, was literally, you know, praising Serena Williams and saying, you know, because of her as well, like, I'm here today and stuff. And yeah, honestly, it's really inspiring. But I think one thing that we definitely need to give credits on is to Venus Williams. Obviously, she is
Still active as well.
Still
Venus.
active.
She hasn't retired
That's
yet.
true. She's not. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying like, oh, well, she has not.
She's
you
still
know,
active.
She's still active. You know, she's still here. So I'll take it. I mean, even Serena doesn't use the word retirement. She says evolve.
True.
Tennis. So don't use the word retirement, guys. But yeah. So in 2005, Venus met with officials from the French Open and Wimbledon to discuss equal pay. And then after that, she actually wrote an essay for the Time just before Wimbledon started in 2006, which actually, I think that essay was the one where it actually got a lot more exposure and eyes and attention on, you know, why the women players not getting the same
equal pay
as the men. And then collaborate with the WTA to lead a campaign, and it was literally such a success with that campaign. It kept on going on. And at the end, we literally got the equal pay in 2007. And the best thing about it as well is that Venus then not only won the title, as we mentioned, that year, but she also was the first one to receive that check. Mm-hmm. And that she actually deserved.
It's only right.
You know? But one thing as well is that Venus she was always vocal about equal pay, even when she was like teenager, 18, which is rightfully so. I mean, you're working really hard, and again, we mentioned already how the black players don't have the same opportunities as the others, so it's like that extra money is definitely going to help them. And aside from all of that, I mean, the women are still playing and still working as hard as the men, and at times, you know, the matches are also definitely as sometimes even more entertaining as well.
More entertaining.
Yeah. So
the only argument that you could have is the fact that women play best of 3, men play best of 5. But like in terms of like where we are in terms of as a society, like
100%.
and equality,
mm-hmm.
it feels right.
Yeah.
And it's the right thing that everyone's on an equal footing.
Yeah.
So and I feel like that's how most players feel, both men and women. So sure. I feel like that's kind of a general feeling like across the board.
Yeah.
And massive credit should go to Venus because she was at the forefront of that kind of.
Especially that this was not like a new fight. Like
exactly.
Obviously they were fighting this for such a long time, including Billie Jean King herself. But Venus took it to a whole different level. Yeah. And to think, and now I even sit down and wonder if she didn't do that.
Where would we be? No, exactly. It's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, like, this would have probably still been a discussion like, why there's no equal pay? So for Venus to do such a thing and be very vocal about it, and, you know, already as a player in general, you're already dealing with like the media being at you and everything. And then when you are a woman who are demanding, even for the bare minimum, at times people will tell you, you know, shut up and play. But she didn't. She went up and she stood in what she believed in. And now, thanks to her, if you are a champion at Wimbledon, you get the same pay as the men. So a massive, massive, massive thank you.
Indeed.
And well done to the Williams sisters, who are continuously breaking down barriers, and the impact in Wimbledon is crazy. This year was their first time since
2024.
1996.
No, I'm saying as in 2024 was
okay. Since 1996, they would not have had any of the Williams sisters since I was born. That's crazy.
You're showing your age, Lucy.
I am. Oh, maybe I should not say that out loud, but hey, it's okay. But actually, no, it's a good thing I'm saying that out loud, because it's just, it's like, wow, this is actually crazy. And it's, again, one of them is still not officially retired. Yeah. So can you imagine?
But in saying that too, like, look at the impact, like, in terms of how many black players or black women were there, like, in the draw like this year. And obviously we were here covering it, like, and we said it kind of in our previous Wimbledon pods anyway, that like it's so nice to have so many players to talk about, like,
for sure.
And I feel that's only going to continue to like grow.
Definitely.
And massive credit should go to Venus and Serena, and obviously Althea Gibson too. Yeah, that's a nice way to end on the Williams there. We should talk about Bryan Shelton and his son Ben next.
Sure.
I feel
family affairs.
Exactly.
See?
Let's keep it in the family.
Family
exactly.
keeping a family.
So first it was sisters, now father and son.
Yes.
But yeah, Bryan's kind of history also like pretty storied. Like obviously he was a pro. Now he's Ben's coach. But in terms of Grand Slams, Wimbledon was his best kind of result in singles anyway. He reached the fourth round. And that was back in 1994.
Yeah.
Ben has already kind of equaled that. Well, this year actually he reached the fourth round. But he's pretty much surpassed his dad already in terms of like ranking and just what he's achieved in his young career so far. But yeah, I feel like, and obviously we talk about Ben quite a lot, like on our platform. His father also needs to get a bit more credit. I feel just for kind of the work he's also done, like in terms of bringing his son through, but also his history should be celebrated too in terms of his kind of history in the game. He was also the Florida Gators head coach, which is obviously where Ben came through in American University, the college in America. But yeah, it's just a really nice story kind of to have and to know that like now that something again that I was kind of not made aware, I've always been aware of it, but doing the research I was like we don't see many black coaches like in the players box. Obviously Bryan is Ben's, but it did also have me thinking like, where are the black coaches?
And they are out there.
Well, they are, but I'm talking there. Like in terms of like the top of the game. So we kind of cover the top 100 in both men and women. Like there aren't that many, Lucy.
No, yeah.
So again, just having Bryan in that box, like that is it's a very significant thing. And I feel like again that's something we should also celebrate even more.
You're right, especially that considering that if his dad was not into tennis or if his dad wasn't a coach, probably wouldn't have seen him there.
I think he said he was more of an American football. That's probably going to be his thing. 'Cause he played quarterback, he said, like in his teens.
Okay.
So he's a talented, like, got a good arm, obviously massive serve, was a lefty. So yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, no, honestly, yeah, but I'm definitely with you on that. I mean, we've had some of the black coaches that we had is like Kamal Murray, Darren King, Michael Parks, John Williams, which is Taylor Townsend's coach, Zach Evenden, who was Francis Tiafoe's coach as well. But I'm with you with all the players that we have, and the reason why I said earlier, like, they are out there is because especially back in the States, in some of these states, like there's a lot of black coaches. But again, when it comes to like the actual level, it's just not, you do not really see it. But credits to Bryan Shelton and credits to Shelton. Like, I think people kind of forget that he literally just started like basically yesterday, but not really. But his tour was like,
his first appearance at Wimbledon was 2023,
which was last year,
and then this year was his second appearance, reached the fourth round, second week.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's also a player that people are talking about his game being well suited to grass. I think I've also said in the past, I feel like Wimbledon's probably going to be one of his most successful, although he has reached the semis in the US.
It's funny because I used to say Clay when he started because I felt like his playing style really suited Clay well. But this year, he kind of proved to me like, you know what? Maybe you can actually do all of them. Especially that going into Wimbledon this year, Shelton was not that much on form. Like he lost. Actually, no, take that back because he lost only the first round to Giovanni Mepesci Pericard.
Queens, Mallorca, he reached the quarters, lost to Paul Jubb.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I said I'm taking it back. Yeah, because he did have an early exit at Queens, but he did lose to Paul Jubb, another black player actually. In Mallorca, and then came in Wimbledon. And the things at Wimbledon, his matches were long. Yeah. Like, they were all 5 sets. They were all 5 sets, but super entertaining, especially that first round. It was so good. It was a very intense match, very entertaining as well.
I think the crowd also, like, kind of took to him
as well. And that's what Shelton brings to, like, his game and his matches. And whether it's US Open, French Open, Wimbledon, that's exactly what he'd be doing. So yeah, I really enjoy that. Yeah, so I'm really happy to see both Shelton, together. you know, as a family, and the mom, she be popping out sometimes.
For the big events.
Yes.
Yeah, she said, yeah, like my mom when you come to like the big tournaments.
I
So
feel like a lot of the moms, that's what they do. To be fair, if I was a mom, I'd be doing the same thing. Bring me only to the Grand Slams. Let me enjoy it. Let me come to Wimbledon and enjoy the pimps. But yeah, a massive shout out to Ben for an incredible run so far. Definitely see him going far at Wimbledon for sure. I mean, if he's already doing second week, this second time at Wimbledon, he can definitely like go further than that.
I'm expecting him to go quite deep next year. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, last 8 semi-finals, possibly a final. Like we'll see. But
we'll see.
I feel like he's got the game to really do big things on grass.
Yeah.
And I mean, why not? Yeah. Why not Wimbledon?
Why not Wimbledon? And why not Coco Gauff?
Oh, damn. Coco
Gauff.
2019, the year she made her debut.
Yeah, she did. She sure did. And was the youngest player to come through qualifying.
Exactly, yeah.
I think what's so special, what I love about it is how like Wimbledon was the place where like that's it. She became like a star, and until this day, when I speak to, because this is how I test the fame of tennis players, I will speak to someone who's not really into tennis or only watches tennis during Wimbledon time, and the one player there's without fail ever since Coco's played is always, when is that Coco girl playing? Or like, you know, or I saw that little young black girl playing who beat Venus and da-da-da. Like when she's playing on, people are always shouting her name like, come on Coco, come on. And so I know there's some people at times that are a bit confused. I have seen comments where people are like, but she hasn't won the Wimbledon title, but why do you think? But I think people tend to forget like, hey, this is where we found out about her.
She made her breakthrough, like, or like announced herself to the tennis world, really.
Right.
Or those that weren't tennis fans, like, but everyone watches Wimbledon.
Like, exactly, yeah. And then on top of that, she plays one of like her biggest matches of her life and beats her idol, you know, so it's definitely, you know, a big moment and stuff. But yeah, Coco has just been I think for me it's even just seeing the growth from that 2019 to now, you know, and now she's a Grand Slam champion, won the US Open last year.
Going back to 2019, like what do you remember of that run? Because that was the year the platform started as well.
That's true.
Obviously we didn't have the podcast then, but the platform was a thing. Yeah. That was like the first year. Yeah. So, but yeah, what do you remember of Coco's run specifically in 2019?
Oh, it was just, I just feel like after Wimbledon, it was just like you could not get away from her. Yeah. Like her name was just like everywhere. But it was just exciting to see another like new face, another young black girl as well. It was just exciting, honestly speaking. What about you?
Because there were like a lot of comparisons, obviously, to the Williams sisters.
Ah, yes.
And I feel like the fact that she played Venus in the first round, like it kind of felt like poetic almost, like, and like almost like a passing of, passing the torch. Like a moment, even though she reached the fourth round. Yeah. In 2019. Yeah, and obviously we all kind of know what she's gone on to do like since then. Yeah.
She won her doubles Grand Slam, at the French Open.
Exactly.
She won US Open.
I think she's a Grand Slam champion, both singles and doubles.
Yeah.
Like
Top
career
3.
high number 2. Like, she's only going to continue to improve.
Exactly.
She's 20 now. Like,
she's still, I think that's another thing people need to remember as well. That she's still so young.
She was 15 in 2019.
Crazy.
Like,
crazy.
And now she's continuing to progress, but there's also like even more improvement to come. Like it's pretty scary to be honest, to like think about what she could achieve.
100%.
But like not to put too much pressure, like we always do say that Serena, obviously she's a 23-time Grand Slam champion. I don't think we're ever going to see that again in terms of those kind of numbers. But I feel like Gauff has the kind of game and attitude to like basically, she's already made a name for herself, but like she will go down in history.
Oh yeah,
I feel like there's more to come from her.
1000%, yeah.
But yeah, it's an exciting time. I feel like
no, you're right, definitely. Definitely looking forward to seeing more of Coco at Wimbledon for sure as well, because I know everyone else is always looking forward to seeing her. They're always mentioning her name. And I'm kind of happy that it's at our home slam that we're getting that.
It's special. It is.
Look at Wimbledon. We getting famous. Another black woman that we have to celebrate for sure, who is the one of the doubles champion at Wimbledon this year, Taylor Townsend.
Yeah. Former junior world #1 as well.
Yep. And she did win the doubles juniors here as well. She also won the one US Open, and also 2012 she won the one at the Australian Open singles and doubles. Yeah. But you've actually shared how you felt like doubles is like, what was your reference about doubles?
Yeah. I feel like Wimbledon is like kind of the home of like doubles, like tennis.
Yeah.
Just because of like the grass and like it just feels as the surface. It's like the kind of most susceptible to like grass or doubles play, really. And I feel like the tradition of like doubles tennis, it kind of feels like it kind of started at Wimbledon. And this is just my feeling. It's not like a fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's in reference to the interview we did with John.
Yes.
I think he agreed with me. Like,
no. I just couldn't remember what it was that you said, but I just always find it interesting. But yeah, I'm not mad at it. But yeah, Taylor, Townsend is a player who's been playing really well in terms of like doubles. You know, she has reached the finals at other Grand Slam, US Open, and French Open with different opponents as well. So US Open was Cassie McNally, and French Open was Leylah Fernandez, and then she won the Wimbledon one with Katerina Siniakova, who is, when it comes to doubles, she is not, and I love how they teamed up. She wasn't I think Taylor wasn't too sure she was going to come down. Siniakova actually like just DM'd her hey, do you want to play together? And they played some great tennis. That final was honestly fantastic as well. It was really fun. I think that's what I enjoyed the most about Taylor Townsend as well, is that she actually, like, obviously singles are definitely more like popular, especially for fans to watch. So she makes it even more entertaining with her playing style and her attitude, and what she brings into the court.
And on that too, I remember when we went to her press conference after, or their press conference after, she did speak about like how, we saw the emotion, like she was in tears, like she broke down. Which is really nice pictures as well, like from that day. But she spoke about how special it feels to kind of cross that line at Wimbledon. And again, it kind of goes up to our initial kind of discussion we were having earlier, like how players feel a special kind of, I don't know, Wimbledon just resonates with them for whatever reason. Like, so I feel like, if you're going to win your first Grand Slam, Wimbledon is like probably the best place
100%
to do it.
For sure.
And just having that kind of special feeling.
I think for her it's even more of like a nice story because of the fact that she actually won it as well in like juniors. And then she becomes a mom, starts playing, and then it's like a nice full circle moment. So a massive shout out to Taylor. And although the double should be doing well, we can't point out the fact that her single game has been definitely helping. She's top 50 at the moment. She reached her first quarterfinals at 1000 at the Canadian Open, and she came through qualifying. So we're keeping an eye on Taylor.
Staying with doubles, I feel we need to talk about Heather Watson as well, because Wimbledon's also a special place for her in terms of getting a Wimbledon Grand Slam, or a Grand Slam, and it was at Wimbledon in mixed doubles.
Mixed doubles,
and obviously being a Brit too. And we've said this in the past, like we almost feel like she was almost forgotten as well, like in terms of her kind of, I say history in the game, but just the stuff she's achieved.
And that's why I find it kind of interesting how people talk more about her, like the match against Serena, than a title that she actually did win. That other Brit players have won in such a long time. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. But I'm definitely with you. I think not even just that, but I think she's definitely forgotten as one of like the key like black players as well, especially around the time when she was playing again. There wasn't a lot of people like her, especially, and being from the UK as well. But she's always like fun to watch. even just, I think the recent match of hers that I watched in person was the US Open, which she was playing doubles with Asia Mohammed against Taylor Townsend and Sniakova, and that was actually a very entertaining doubles match as well. Yeah, and these are the type of energy you can still get. And I think as well with Heather, what I admire is that she still wants to fight for it. I mean, she reached was it the fourth round like 2 years ago at Wimbledon. Like the fact that she's been playing for so long and yet she reached like one of like her best at Wimbledon just 2 years ago just shows to you that she's still around. She's still playing her ITF as well, and the challengers and doubles as well. So yeah, I just feel like it will be nice to definitely get. It would be nice for Heather Watson to get more of that. More of that praise, but again, it goes back at times the black women are forgotten,
and again it's kind of our job, Lucy, as well, like to kind of give these players like their flowers. Like, and yeah, I feel like Heather Watson is definitely someone that we should celebrate some more, and just highlight what she's achieved, because for a long time you could argue she was kind of carrying like British women's tennis. Obviously we've had like Emma Raducanu, who's won a Grand Slam, or the latest British player to win a Grand Slam, and like now you've got like Katie Bolter coming through, Harriet Dart, like
you also had Konta before.
Konta, who's now retired. But yeah, I feel like the time where Watson was like the British female number one or women's number one, like she wasn't celebrated. Like, and again, obviously we didn't exist at the time. But I feel like if we did, we would definitely be 100%. Kind of giving her like her deserved flowers, basically. So for sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of like looking back at like what she has achieved, and like you said, she's still playing. Like, so she's definitely someone that we need to basically put some more respect on her name. Like,
facts.
quite literally. So and I feel, to kind of segue, like staying with the Brits and Wimbledon, like Wimbledon's also a place where you do find a lot of the Brits kind of get opportunities to like make a debut. So just off the top of my head, we've had in the most recent years anyway, Paul Job. So obviously he played college tennis in the States, and like he was kind of making a name for himself in America. But Wimbledon gave him like that Grand Slam opportunity. I think back in 2019, I think that's when he made his debut.
I believe so. I'm just double checking now, but I believe 2019.
And then there's, I think before him there's Jay Clark.
2018.
And again, Jay Clark, someone we speak about quite a lot, or have spoken about quite a lot on this platform.
Sure,
Again, he made his Grand Slam debut at Wimbledon. And another name from last year actually. George Lofhagen. Exactly. So again, like Wimbledon is kind of
powerful forehand, by the way. I will never forget it. Sorry.
Obviously, being like the British Grand Slam, they're going to give wildcards to the British players, and quite rightly so. But I feel like it's also important to kind of acknowledge that as well.
100%, yeah. Because especially that I'm pretty sure. The thing is as well is like a lot of the most popular black players are also from America.
Exactly.
You know, so it's definitely.
Or like France. There's a lot coming through
now the France are coming up as well. But it's just nice seeing that. Or nice letting people know, like, hey, we have some too at home, and and they're getting there. I mean, you need to keep in mind as well, both Paul and Jay Clark had to deal with injuries as well.
Yeah, recently. But
Jay Clark has been working like crazy, which we spoke about not too long ago.
ITF and Challengers circuit,
and George is just getting started, so this is just the start. I feel like from like next year we'll definitely be hearing a lot more from them, especially Paul as well. I mean, we just spoke about him earlier. He literally beat Ben Shelton in Mallorca. But I'm just glad that we definitely have, and it also obviously because we have a lot more of like the black women's side, so it's nice that you're seeing more of like the men as well coming and is coming in from our place. So I'm really looking forward to seeing to watching them and seeing how they accomplish like in the future. Again, as I mentioned, George, watching him earlier this year was definitely fun. But definitely looking forward to seeing more of Paul and Jay Clark as well.
No, agreed. I want to say that's it, or is there more you want to?
Do you know what's crazy? There's so much more.
To be fair, we can actually go longer, but I'm just thinking time.
Let's Yeah, you know, we're keeping it
Let's wrap it
nice. We're keeping it nice, but
no, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
This is one of the reasons why I love Black History Month, because I know there's some people that are a bit like, oh yeah, you know, about it, but I love it because I feel like every Black History Month, Black History Month, I feel like I'm always learning something new.
Yeah.
But again, it was nice to go back and reflect and realizing like, wow, like these are people accomplishing these type of things at this sport where you don't see a lot of them. At Wimbledon as well. It's just, it's just a nice time to just take a little moment to reflect. So yeah, and I really hope everyone else actually did enjoy it. And
yeah, same. And guys, like it's been, I say, difficult. Like it's tough to kind of get so much information into like a set kind of time.
Like I said, we could have spoke about Althea Gibson this entire time. You had to stop me to stop talking about Williams.
This is the thing. Like
hello.
we hope we've done the people we've spoken about like justice. So yeah, it's been fun. Like you said, Lucy, doing the research and like learning a lot as well, because I've learned a lot of like new things or things that I wasn't like fully aware of. I may have knew of or like kind of had an idea, but like doing the reading and research, I was like, damn, like
I'm glad that you learned more about Althea.
Yeah, no,
that one
shouts out to you for that.
That one touched me.
100%. So yeah, no, definitely big up yourself for that for sure. But yeah, it's been fun. And I'm sure we'll do this again at some. Well, I say at some point.
I would love to.
Like it'd be cool, and I feel like it's something that's
Wimbledon
needed.
invited us back.
It's something
all day.
Massive shout out to Wimbledon too for providing an incredible backdrop for us, and
giving us the opportunity to discuss and celebrate Black History Month. Indeed. So happy Black History Month to everyone, and we hope that you enjoyed the show.
Take care.